Entonces el Shaolin, ¿lo ven? Y las hasta allá, sí, allá.
Son todos
La
alrededor.
mitad de la allá.
Ah, sí.
Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful lectakium that are laboring by pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, coming at you with a lesson. It's just an update on what has been in the news lately is these blackouts. On a list of other things from the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin and the information that's going to come out. These cities worldwide in random places that are experiencing blackouts and power grid failures because of everybody is running their heaters, and then the power grid itself is actually so old and has not been upgraded that now they're starting to have a lot of these problems. But as you could hear in that video, just put yourself in the situation of just hearing all those people just crying for help, screaming, little kids, hearing women getting raped, men shooting each other, fighting to the death, explosions, fires starting all over the place, buildings collapsing, people running all throughout the streets, nowhere to go, no time to grab anything to prepare, no preparations in place to deal with the darkness. And this is just a little section, as you can see in the video, that there's still light in the background, but people were going crazy just because the lights went out in their little square mile by mile grid. Just the pure noise of that is going to be exactly how the day is described of the day of the Lord, Jacob's trouble. Again, focus on the sound. And people may not be stressed to the point, where they're going crazy, but people are panicking. For sure somebody died that was hooked up to a breathing machine or an elderly person that depended on it. No way to get contact to emergency help, especially when there's an emergency happening in every city in the United States at the same time. So the scriptures that I wanted to get on this, and then I'll get the article. But this is Salakia. This is Zephaniah 1 and 14. The great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteneth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly. So if the men are going to cry bitterly, like a woman in travail, like a pregnant woman that's about to give birth to a baby screaming, how much more these women? They're going to be in a worse case. They're going to not even be able to think for themselves. They're going to be completely dependent on whatever man they have. And if their man is doing that and he's a mighty man, how do you think state of mind they're going to be in? Verse 15, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like a gloomy day. Imagine a gloomy day with no electricity. These people are going to, be fully, whole world turned upside down with no power. You see how people react when their phone's going to die. How much more so when they can't even, live a normal life. 16, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers going into, the cities that give those alarms. Like if a tornado is coming in, it's gonna all the alarms are gonna be going off everywhere. All the alarms are gonna be red, emergency, and no one's gonna be able to get to all of them. This is 17. I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. There's going to be so many dead bodies on bodies out here. Verse 18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, ultimately the ICBM nuclear missiles. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land, being Babylon being laid waste less than an hour, you know. So this is going into the food famines that are going to be happening in these blackouts and the lack of logistics and being able to get goods from point A to point B. This is Isaiah 9 and 20, started 19. Through the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. Ultimately, this is talking when the northern and southern kingdom were beefing, you know. But again, this is going to be happening in Babylon the Great. They say at work when you're working with an Edomite, oh, it's all good, brother. You know how the white man comes up to you, he's talking, oh, it's all good, brother. You know, hey, we're brothers now, but let the shit hit the fan and you're going to be at my scalp looking for a reward, looking to see what you can take from me. You're not going to, especially don't trust these white people. It's so called, you know, like the movie, Leave the World Behind. You know, what just came out when the little girl's talking, or the girl's talking on the bed with her dad. You know, she said, Mom, you know, Mom would say, especially don't trust these white people. But back at it, this is Isaiah 9 and 20. And he shall snatch on the right hand, Salakia, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry. And he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. You know, ultimately, the spirit, you can live spiritually and physical part of it. The physical part being, you know, they're going to have a strain of looking for food, you know, everywhere, to the point where they're going to resort to cannibalism. You know, and on the spiritual side, people are going to look on the left hand and the right hand, you know, both sides of the spectrum, so the wicked and the righteous, that are when I say righteous, I'm talking about, like, let's say the Satanists that are going to try to go to their left-handed magic, and then you have the Christians that are going to try to pray to their God thinking they're doing good, but they're not going to be able to get any response. And ultimately, like it says, he shall eat on the left hand and they shall not be satisfied, because they're not going to be satisfied with the answers, you know, that they're getting ultimately from the Lord in the time that they need him most, which is in the time of Jacob's trouble. Because all these religions, they talk about these days being darkened and the end days and the last days, and every religion expects to be saved by the God that they believe in, that they pray to, that they worship, that they go to church and every Sunday sit in the pews from. But not all of them are going to get a response, and not all of them are going to get fed physically and spiritually. But the men of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, are going to eat and drink and laugh, and it'll be all right, man. You know, we're going to be right in the midst of all that, but the Lord is going to keep us safe. You know, it's like it says, my servant shall eat and my servant shall drink. So, you know, that's something that we have to understand, that when all these people are going crazy, we're going to have the understanding that that's why they're going through it, you know, because they didn't ultimately turn to the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And I wanted to show you this little quick snippet video about them talking about cutting the undersea cables again.
And to cut the red,
which is going to lead to even more blackouts, which has happened in Sri Lanka already for cable disruptions. Because they say, oh, you can switch to the satellites. The internet is not run off satellite. It is run by fiber optic cables that go throughout the whole planet. It's continuing this video just for your information if brothers have not seen this yet.
Yemen's Houthis have threatened to cut the Red Sea underground fiber optic cable if the US and UK launch another attack on Yemeni airports. This is a huge threat, as this cable is the lifeblood of communication pathways connecting Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. The severance of these cables poses a serious threat to geopolitical stability, global financial markets, and cybersecurity. More than 99% of the world's international internet traffic and more than 80% of international telephone communication traffic passes through submarine fiber optic cables.
There you go. So a very small percentage of that goes through, you know, the satellites. But I wanted to get the article going into the blackouts real quick, and then I'll let you go. You know, I want this video straight to the point. This is Best Life widespread blackouts predicted for 2024. Will they hit your region? And the question is yes, because everybody's about to go through this. This is quick. I'm going to read through this article as fast as I can. But it's easy to take for granted the infrastructures that keep our lives humming along. For example, things would quickly collapse, quickly, suddenly, if we suddenly had no running water, plumbing, or electricity. There's good reason to believe that these systems will continue to function as usual. But experts say that as we place an increasing strain on our natural resources, many of us can expect to see increased disruptions to the power grid beginning this year. How would they know that? They understand that these infrastructure updates are long overdue and that the strain of the world's problems are going to overcome upgrading your damn fucking streetlights, upgrading the electrical power systems that keep cities running. They don't care about that, man. They're beating their plowshares to swords right now, getting ready for war, not caring about the people. This is widespread blackouts may affect 2/3 of people living in North America in 2024, a new report warns. Call halal Yahweh. I did not even read this article all the way through. I was skimming through it. I didn't even see that. That's scriptural right there. That's 2/3, man. 2/3. It even said in North America, and that scripture affects the Israelites living in Babylon the Great. So 2/3 of these people are going to get it, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect. The next time, shalom.